Let's dive right into a seriously chilling piece of modern folklore today. We're looking at a story that completely flips everything you think you know about predator and prey. Imagine this. You're driving down a desolate stretch of highway known as NH24. It is pitch black. The fog is so incredibly thick you can barely see the hood of your car. It's the kind of atmosphere that totally messes with your mind, right? Where you can't tell what's real. Well, out on this highway, the line between who is hunting and who is being hunted is about to get completely obliterated. Just look at this opening thought from the source text. Some nights are not just nights, they are a trap. Wow. I mean, that instantly sets the mood, doesn't it? It's telling us right off the bat that this fog isn't just bad weather. It's a veil. It's hiding a deadly game. Think about it psychologically. Traps are terrifying because they rely entirely on deception. And as we're going to see in this explainer, literally everyone on this highway is deceiving someone else. Okay, so the whole mythology of this story circles around something called an Atamara. Basically, this translates to the half-dead. Now, throw out your typical ideas of, see-through ghosts floating through walls. That is not what we're dealing with here. These things are tragic, totally ravenous creatures stuck in this miserable limbo between worlds. They aren't fully alive, but they definitely aren't dead. And the scariest part, they don't just haunt a place, they hunger. They wander around silently, ruthlessly looking for their next meal. Keep this in the back of your mind because it is absolutely crucial to everything that goes down next. Act 1, The Midnight Hitchhiker, a dangerous game on NH24. Let's get into it. So, we start off with what feels like a totally classic, maybe even cliché horror movie setup. There's this young, seemingly helpless girl named Radha, wandering alone on this creepy road. She flags down a truck driven by a guy named Dev. He pulls over, opens the door, and lets her in. But the second she gets into that cramped cab, she drops this absolute bombshell of a line. She says, "I am running from death." She tells Dev there is something massive and deadly right on her heels. Notice how she's not acting relieved to be saved? She's acting like the danger is practically sitting in the backseat with them. And this is where the power dynamic takes a massive turn. Dev is the guy with the truck, right? He should be the one in control. But instead, he's basically hyperventilating, his mind completely spiraling into all those local village ghost stories about spirits haunting the highway. And Radha, she doesn't try to calm him down at all. She actively leans into it. She slowly turns to him, gives him this incredibly creepy smile, and literally asks, "Do you think I am a ghost?" It is just brilliant psychological warfare. She is playing his deepest superstitions like a fiddle. Which brings us to Act 2. The holy amulet fails. The real monster emerges. By this point, Dev is so freaked out by Radha that he actually ditches his own truck at a checkpoint and just sprints into the pitch-black forest. Radha, meanwhile, is just slowly strolling after him, laughing. So, Dev finds this abandoned wooden shed and hides under a bench. When Radha finally walks in, Dev whips out this holy metal amulet, screaming that evil spirits can't touch him now. But then Radha smells it. This overwhelmingly pungent stench of rotting flesh just fills the air. And the crazy part? It isn't coming from her. It's coming from him. Dev's holy amulet isn't working because he isn't trying to ward off a spirit. Dev is the actual monster. Right before her eyes, Dev physically transforms. It is intense. His skin turns this awful, sickly green color. His eyes roll all the way back until they're completely white, and suddenly he has this terrifying, superhuman strength. He literally tosses his own holy amulet away, because guess what? He's no ghost. He is a mutated, ravenous creature, and he happily lets Radha know that he and his entire village are starving. Talk about a backfire. Radha just chased a physical, flesh-eating horror straight into its own living room. Now, you're probably wondering, how on earth did Dev turn into this thing? Well, the source text hides this incredibly dark, man-made origin story. It was a massive chemical blast in a nearby village. So no, this wasn't some ancient, supernatural curse. It was a catastrophic industrial disaster. The explosion didn't kill the villagers, it mutated them. It turned totally innocent people into these hungry, predatory Admara. What I absolutely love about this is how the story takes traditional local ghost folklore and totally grounds it in this twisted but honestly kind of plausible sci-fi reality. Okay, what happens next is just pure chaotic survival mode. Radha somehow manages to break out of the shed, sprints back to the truck, and locks herself inside. But Dev, who is now in full Admara mode, just smashes right through into the cab. They're fighting, it's totally violent, and during the struggle, the handbrake accidentally gets released. So now the truck is rolling down this insanely steep hill. Thinking fast, Radha grabs a heavy iron rod and just jams it into the handbrake mechanism to try and hold Dev off. She manages to keep him at bay just long enough until the runaway truck violently smashes into a massive rock. The sheer force of the impact actually ejects Dev straight through the windshield, knocking him out cold. Moving on to Act 3, the scammer revealed, the human motive. Rava scrambles out of the wrecked truck, leaves Dev laying there unconscious, and just runs for her life, right? She whips out her cell phone and calls a friend. And guys, this phone conversation completely flips the entire narrative on its head. Up until now, we totally thought Radha was this helpless victim, or maybe some vengeful spirit pulling a prank. Nope. On the phone, she starts complaining that she was out on the highway today to trap and extort money from a driver. She was never a victim. She's actually a highway scammer. She is a totally human predator who uses these lonely, dark roads to rob people. She just accidentally tried to scam a literal flesh-eating monster. It is such a perfect example of how human predators will so often mask themselves as victims. And finally, Act 4, the inescapable final trap, the apex predators of NH24. So Radha is still running down the road, still on the phone with her friend, sending her live location, when out of nowhere, bam, a speeding car strikes her, throwing her straight to the pavement. The driver, a woman, rushes out, helps a bleeding, badly injured Radha into the passenger seat, and says she's taking her to the hospital. As they speed off, Radha is totally frantic. She is begging this woman to drive faster, warning her new savior about all the horrors lurking out there in the fog. She's literally describing the exact things she just saw: the chemical blast, the green faces, the bodies covered in scars, the insane strength. The dark irony here is just off the charts. Radha is sitting completely helpless in the passenger seat, giving a flawless, detailed description of the exact predator she thinks she's escaping. The woman driving just calmly listens to Radha absolutely panicking about these monsters. And then, without missing a beat, she just asks, "Why are you asking all this? This road doesn't lead to the city." The driver then slowly turns her head toward Radha and reveals that she too is an Adamara. Just like that, Radha managed to escape one trap, only to willingly climb right into another one. The original source text actually ends right there, with the creature pouncing on Radha inside the moving car. So, this whole explainer leaves us with a really provocative question to chew on. Out on NH24, who is the real monster? Is it the living or the dead? I mean, Radha went out there to prey on innocent people for a quick buck. She actively exploited the darkness and the very real fears people have about that highway. But what she didn't realize was that in this specific ecosystem, there are apex predators way, way higher up on the food chain, born from a disaster the rest of the world just completely ignored. It's a terrifying, perfect cycle of predator and prey. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack all of this today. And hey, next time you're driving through thick fog, just remember, sometimes the fog is hiding exactly what you deserve.